A group of friends rented an old house deep in the countryside after their car broke down. The owner welcomed them with a strange smile before disappearing into the night. At first, everything seemed normal until they realized there was no phone signal. They tried opening the front door, but it wouldn't budge. Every window was locked from the outside. As midnight struck, footsteps echoed upstairs, even though they were all together downstairs. One by one, they heard someone whispering their names from different rooms. They screamed for help, but no sound escaped the house. By sunrise, the house was empty once again, waiting for its next guests. A young photographer entered an abandoned hospital to capture eerie pictures before sunset. The building was silent except for the sound of dripping water. As he walked through the dark hallways, he noticed fresh footprints leading toward the operating room. Curious, he followed them. Inside, an old hospital bed slowly rolled across the floor by itself. Suddenly, every door slammed shut. He heard doctors whispering behind him, but when he turned around, the hallway was empty. His camera flash went off by itself. Looking at the photo, he saw dozens of patients standing behind him. When he looked back, they were gone. Late one evening, a traveler took a shortcut through an old cemetery after getting lost. Thick fog covered every grave. He began hearing someone softly calling his name. Thinking it was another traveler, he followed the voice deeper into the cemetery. The graves became older and older until he reached a broken tomb. Standing beside it was a woman dressed in black with her head lowered. She slowly raised her face. It was nothing but darkness. The fog swallowed everything, and the traveler was never seen again. A security guard worked the night shift at an old school scheduled for demolition. At exactly midnight, the school bell rang by itself. Children's laughter echoed through the empty classrooms. Curious, he followed the sound until he reached room 13. Small footprints covered the dusty floor. The classroom door slowly opened on its own. Every student desk was empty, except the last one. A child sat there with its back turned. As the guard stepped closer, the child whispered, "You're late." The lights went out. The next morning, the guard had disappeared without a trace. A hiker lost his way and found an old cabin hidden deep in the forest. An elderly woman invited him inside, warning him never to open the bedroom door. During the night, he heard scratching and someone crying behind it. Unable to resist, he slowly turned the doorknob. The room was empty, except for a large mirror. His reflection smiled at him. He wasn't smiling. The bedroom door slammed shut. The next morning, the cabin was abandoned once again. No one ever found the hiker. A young man was driving home late one night along a deserted highway when he noticed a woman standing alone on the side of the road. She looked frightened and asked if he could take her to the next town. Feeling sorry for her, he agreed. The drive was silent. Every time he glanced in the rearview mirror, she was staring directly at him without blinking. Trying to break the silence, he asked where she lived. She smiled. "I don't." A chill ran down his spine. He slammed on the brakes and turned around. The back seat was empty. Confused, he stepped out of the car. As he looked behind him, a pair of cold hands grabbed his shoulders from the darkness. No one ever found his car. A woman had just moved into a quiet neighborhood. Every night, she noticed her elderly neighbor standing at his upstairs window, silently watching her house. He never waved. He never looked away. One evening, she gathered the courage to visit him. She knocked on the front door. No answer. The door slowly creaked open by itself. Inside, the house was covered in dust. Family photographs hung on every wall. In every picture, the same old man appeared. A newspaper on the table caught her attention. Its headline read, "Homeowner found dead 5 years ago." Suddenly, she heard footsteps upstairs. She slowly looked toward the window. The old man was standing there again, smiling. A young woman had a habit of checking herself in the mirror every night before going to bed. One evening, she noticed something strange. Her reflection smiled, but she wasn't smiling. She blinked. Everything looked normal again. The next night, it happened once more. This time, her reflection slowly raised its hand and waved. Terrified, she stepped away from the mirror. The reflection didn't. It continued staring at her. She smashed the mirror into pieces and ran out of the room. The following morning, she woke up in front of a brand new mirror. Looking back at her was herself, standing outside the mirror. A man lived alone in a small apartment. Every night, just before he fell asleep, he heard someone whisper his name. At first, he ignored it, but the whispers grew louder every night. One evening, he finally answered, "Who are you?" The whisper immediately stopped. Relieved, he closed his eyes. A voice beside his ear quietly replied, "I'm you." He opened his eyes. The room was empty, but from that night on, he could hear someone breathing whenever he was alone. A businessman checked into a hotel after a long day of traveling. The receptionist handed him a key and gave him one warning: never open room 13. Curiosity kept him awake all night. At midnight, he quietly walked to room 13. The door was slightly open. Inside was another hotel room. On the bed, someone was sleeping. He stepped closer. The person slowly sat up. It was him. The other version of himself smiled and whispered, "You weren't supposed to find me." The lights went out. The next morning, the hotel staff found room 13 locked. The businessman had vanished without a trace.